This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry.
All of you chumps are gonna bow. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Money.
You're listening to The Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB. If you'd like to contact Mr. Credit, visit mrcredit.org.
All right, welcome to the Real Estate Debate, very special edition of the show today. And JJ, I tell you what, this was supposed to be an all newbie show. We were going to have all first-time guests on the Real Estate Debate. We had someone call out. So how do you feel about judging the show today with the most championest of champion from the Real Estate Debate history, in with three guys who've never been on the show before? How do you feel going into that?
Well, I just hope the new guys brought their A game. Because, it's going to be tough to take down the champ, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting dynamic because you were actually the judge. John Giroux with, we call him JJ with Synergy One Lending, is judging the show today, my longtime co-host on this program. You judged the Champions show, which was all past champions. And I thought that was going to be tough. Today, what do you do? Do you implement a curve of some sort? Or how do you deal with that?
That would be very unfair. We could handicap it, but, the reality is they're all top-notch professionals in the industry. And, their information is going to be valid, no matter what they say. So points are points. Points are points.
This is the Real Estate Debate, where we debate the hottest topics in San Diego real estate and make you smarter than everyone else. JJ, let's talk about the mortgage minute for a second. And I know there's a long answer to this. So if you can give us the short answer, but mortgage insurance, this seems to be becoming a worse and worse problem for people. In other words, people who are buying homes, their mortgage insurance amounts, the premiums every month are just absurdly huge. Is mortgage insurance something that has to be there? Is it a mandatory item?
Well, it's mandatory depending on how the loan is structured. So I'll try to be as brief as I can. You're doing an FHA loan, it's going to be mandatory. You're doing a VA loan, it's not going to be mandatory because they don't have mortgage insurance and it's zero down. So typically when you put less than 20% down on a home so that loan to value is over 80%, you're going to need mortgage insurance. So it's just figuring out the structure of that. You can structure it with a couple different loans, doing a first and a second. That'll take you to 90%. But if you're going above 90%, you're going to have mortgage insurance for sure. There's no way to unstructure that. So then it's, how do you structure it from there? You can do a monthly mortgage insurance payment. You could also structure it with something called lender-paid mortgage insurance, where it's built into the interest rate.
The lender pays for it.
Lender pays for it.
I like that idea.
Hey, you know what? let's call it as it is, because there's no free lunch, right? You're as the consumer is going to pay for it. It's going to be higher interest. It's going to be in the interest rate. So okay. You're going to pay for it, but depending on how it's structured, it can definitely make sense. There's the beauty of it is there's no simple way to just structure it one way. You have a lot of different options, and that's the greatest thing.
But you can essentially avoid the monthly payment. You can put it into the interest rate. You could potentially pay it up front.
Yep.
And finance it too, right? That's all possible. There's ways to eliminate that mortgage insurance burden on a monthly basis.
Definitely. And the beauty of putting it into the interest rate, remember, interest is tax deductible. Mortgage insurance is not tax deductible.
Yeah. So. Great point there from Jonathan Giroux. We call him JJ with Synergy One Lending. AskJJNow.com is his website, or you can call him if you'd like to refinance. Get rid of that mortgage insurance, or see if there's a way to minimize it. Even if you can chop it in half with a refinance, get a slightly lower interest rate, that could be well worth your time. 760-522-2298 is his number, 760-522-2298. You ready to meet our contestants today?
I am ready.
All right, let's do it. First time on the Real Estate Debate, Joseph Arinson is here from San Diego RealEstateToday.com. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, doing well, Derek. I'm looking forward to this. Brought my A game. I hope these guys did as well.
Yeah, well, we expect that, by the way.
All right.
You have a really good website, San Diego RealEstateToday.com. You update it frequently. You spend a lot of time on it. What is it that you expect people to get when they go there?
We built the website just to be a consumer-friendly site. You're not going to see me branded all over it. It's strictly going to benefit buyers and sellers from finding out information, local information, information of how to purchase and how to sell. Okay. Strictly consumer-friendly site.
Consumer-oriented, San Diego RealEstateToday.com. Very good stuff. Joseph, good luck today, my man.
I appreciate it.
And we've made mention of the man already, Brian DeVore. I call him Mr. Real Estate Debate. He was the first two-time winner in Real Estate Debate history, the first three-time winner in Real Estate Debate history, and no one has topped that so far, Brian. But today,
but I'm stuck. I have someone with me at least for now. I got to get over that now.
Yeah, okay. He's trying to separate himself from Elizabeth Story, who became the second three-time winner just a few weeks ago. Brian's with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California Properties,
right,
and the DeVores How are you feeling about today and what's going on in your world?
Feeling good. Just was able to come on a couple days ago. Heard I was going to be coming on, so only had a couple days to prepare.
Yeah.
So hopefully I have the topics well in hand. But I've been talking to these guys ahead of time, and they seem ready to go.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stepping up, by the way.
Absolutely.
Because we did have a last-second cancellation, so really appreciate you stepping in. Good luck today, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Brian DeVore trying to become the very first 4-time winner in real estate debate history. We also have another new guest on the show today. Dan Christensen is here from ChristensenRealtyGroup.com. Dan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here with Brian. Hey, who won that Tournament of Champions debate?
It was not me.
Oh, okay.
He's already putting me in my place.
Wow. I like it.
Wow.
Trying to get a little bit of an edge here.
He's getting an edge.
I see that. I see it working.
All right. No, doing good. Glad to be here, Derek.
Off.
Hey, by the way, happy birthday.
Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have a great day today. I know we're going to have a great show. We're going to teach people a lot. I appreciate you being here, Dan. Our final contestant today is Ryan Stein from RyanJStein.com. Ryan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. How do you feel about your chances today? We've got some serious talent in the room.
I know. I see it. So hopefully I can hang with these big boys.
Well, I appreciate you being here, Ryan. Thanks for being a contestant today. It's time to take the temperature of the market before we get into our debate topics. The first thing we'll ask you guys is how you would describe the current state of the real estate market with just one word, and then you'll have 30 seconds to explain that word. We are starting with you, Joseph Aronson. How would you describe the current state of the San Diego real estate market? One word, 30 seconds, go.
Realistic. I mean, that is the word. What we're seeing right now is people actually taking their time to make purchases. They have options. They have inventory to choose from, and it allows them to go out and find a good deal. People that are just being unrealistic with prices and trying to sell their property, I mean, they're just not selling. So I would sum it up with realistic.
It's a realistic market.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Brian DeVore, how would you describe the San Diego real estate market? One word, 30 seconds, go.
I would say stabilizing. And I think there's a few different metrics that go into it. You have prices are stabilizing, and then sales volume is stabilizing. The HomeDex report, which is put out by the North San Diego County Association of Realtors, which describes sales based on the last time those homes sold. And if you look at the summary of information, prices are increasing only by single digits year over year, and small margins month to month. Volume is actually down only 3.7%, whereas before it was down even more. That's stabilizing. Affordability has crept up a little bit from 31 to 32%, so that's stabilizing. Inventory is about 3 months, getting better than the 2 months, stabilizing. And then Leslie Appleton Young, CAR's chief economist, anticipates 5.2% increase in prices year over year. So again, more stabilizing. And the market's really going to be regulated now by economic conditions, not all the foreclosures that are out there, because those are only 6.2% of total sales.
Okay, so a stabilizing marketplace and some data to back it up. That's good stuff from Brian DeVore. Dan Christensen, how would you describe the San Diego market? One word, 30 seconds.
You know, I'd say it's healthy. Derek, I think it's a really healthy market. The fact is we haven't seen a healthy, balanced market in probably 10 years or more.
Yeah.
I think that's what is happening. I think people are freaking out just a little bit, but honestly, I just think that we've either had a buyer's market or a seller's market for the last 10 years, and I think we're moving to a balanced market. It feels uncomfortable because we don't experience this very often, and we haven't in quite a long time. But the fact is that inventory is up to about 3 months. I know technically that's still a seller's market, but the reality is it just feels like a balanced market to me. I think it's a great time to buy. At the same time, I think it's a great time to sell, and you don't have that happen at the same time very often. Yeah,
realistically speaking. Yeah, good stuff, Dan. I appreciate that. He says it's balanced. Makes sense to me. Ryan Stein, how would you describe the current state of the San Diego market with one word?
It's a perfect market. And why I say that is because sellers can maximize top dollar, get their homes sold fast if they list it at the correct price, and rates are also at an all-time low. So a buyer can also take advantage of the market at that point as well. So in my opinion, it's perfect.
Perfect market. The low rate comment, I'm sure, scored, right? I mean, that definitely got points.
He's shaking his head in the corner over here.
At least I'm guessing, but it probably did. All right, the second part of the opening here is we're taking the temperature of the market. A lot of people have actually said that the market has softened. And now there's a lot of different reasons why people would say that. We're definitely on fire last year, and we're not quite on the same type of fire right now. So we'll give you another 30 seconds. Back to you, Joseph. Tell us the real reasons why the market has softened.
Well, this is strictly just on my viewpoint and what I'm seeing in the market. And I think it's fear for some buyers. They saw this huge climb, and we saw a 16% increase in values. I mean, over the course of 1 year, and people saw that climbing, and they got a little skeptical that maybe prices are going to drop. However, it doesn't look like we're really slowing down. We're still seeing, 6% increase from this time last year in value. So we're seeing steady growth versus that big leap. And I think people are still being skeptical, thinking that the market's going to fall, and it's just not going to happen.
Okay.
So I would sum it up with fear.
You think people are fearful, and that's what's caused it. That makes sense.
And what's happened is that buyers are actually getting pushed out of their price point that they could purchase in. They're waiting for that market to take a dip, and it's just not.
So there is some reality in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Brian DeVore, tell us the real reasons why the market is soft in 30 seconds.
Well, if you ask Ben Bernanke, it's because you can't get loans. Poor guy can't even get a loan for his house.
I don't believe him, by the way.
Well, no. Hey, look, he did have a change in income, right? He lost his job. So
that's true.
But I think there was actually an article from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that it's student loan debt is holding people back from being able to form households. But I think a lot of it is fear. I think people saw the run up and they didn't want to repeat what happened 10 years ago and just get in thinking they had to or else. So they were waiting. I think the biggest thing is affordability. Affordability is still not super great, especially in San Diego. It'll never be great in San Diego, I think, but we live here for a reason.
Sure.
And I think that affordability kind of put the brakes on things. But I'm starting to see a recovery again. We're starting to see a lot more buyers out there now than we were a month or two ago. So I think the slowdown we did have, I think is starting to ebb a little bit.
Okay, yeah, and that would coincide with your first remarks as well. Dan Christensen, how would you describe the real reasons behind why the market has quote unquote softened this year?
I'm taking a different spin on that, Derek. Okay. I don't like that word softening. I think it's a little bit negative, a little bit scary. I don't think that's what's happening.
Okay.
I think that what we're really experiencing is part of it is just the normal seasonal adjustment combined with some factors that are moving us toward a healthy, balanced market. So I think it's all about mindset. I don't think it's really softening. I think this is normal. I think it's really good. For example, over the last 2 years, 30% or home sellers are going to make 30% more than they did 2 years ago. I think that's a great factor. But because of that, there's more sellers coming on the market. As I look at the market right now, I see a lot, the inventory that's out there, I see half of it being priced well and selling. The other half is overpriced. I think those sellers just haven't caught up with what's really going on. I think that they came on pricing $20,000 above and expecting multiple offers in a few days, and that's just not going to happen. But I think these factors are just.
So you disagree? He disagrees,
I do.
That's perfectly okay. It's one of those things. The word softening means something different to everyone.
It is a debate.
It is a debate show, so that makes sense. Ryan Stein, tell us the real reasons why the market is softened. 30 seconds.
I agree to disagree as well. I don't feel the market softened at all. I pulled some quick stats with the between January and March of this year. Average median price was $415. Average day on market was 53 days. And then from August to date, median was $445, and average day on market was 45 days.
Interesting.
So price went up, and average amount of time on market went down. So to me, that doesn't really dictate softening, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, hard to argue with those numbers. Very good stuff from Ryan Stein. So here's what we're going to do. Coming up, we're going to get you clued in onto the score. I'm sure everyone wants to know what the score is, and JJ's working his magic over there with the calculator out. We'll tell you what the score is, and we'll get into debate topic number 1. You're listening to The Real Estate Debate on AM 760 KFMB. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to The Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out on your Sunday afternoon. Mr. Credit here. You're listening to The Real Estate Debate. JJ, it's time for the scores. Tell us where we're at after one segment.
Well, I think people should wait to hear the scores, but I know they don't want to wait to hear the scores. It'd be better if it was just postponed. But Ryan, you got to step it up a little bit. You're at 5. We've got 2 tied at 7, Dan and Joseph. And the champ right now is in the leader spot at 8.
Oh,
so it's a close race.
match.
Close match.
Close match across the board. And we're leading into our rapid fire segment. All right, this is where, fellas, we're going to start with you, Mr. DeVore.
All right.
This is where you're going to essentially fill in the blank. You've got 5 seconds to give your answer. If you don't give it, you will get buzzard. Or you can pass if you simply don't have anything. Sometimes that does happen. All right, Brian, you're up first. You know your realtor is doing their job when?
They promote your home on the real estate debate on AM 760 KFMB, hosted by Mr. Credit.
Oh, boy.
That's what you guys are up against, all right? Points. JJ, you got this. All right, Dan Christensen, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When they're not texting while driving, showing you property.
Ooh, yes. I like that one. All right, Ryan Stein, you know your realtor is doing a good job when?
They pick up their phone and respond to all questions or concerns within minutes.
Definitely. Joseph Arinson, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When you don't hear from them, because then they're doing their job.
Interesting. I don't know. That's borderline. Brian DeVore, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
They use professional photographs for your listing, not pictures taken from an iPhone.
Yeah. No brainer there. Dan Christensen, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When he says, I don't know, but I know how to find out.
Yeah, I like that. Ryan Stein, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
They set realistic expectations from the beginning.
Yep. Joseph Arinson, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When you have people coming through the door.
Yeah. Hey, how about that? Results. Getting offers, getting people to the open houses. I like that.
Yeah.
Brian DeVore, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
The description of the property on the MLS is more than just great 4-bedroom house.
Dan Christensen, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When he has the lender take initiative to call the listing agent after submitting an offer.
Yes, love it. Ryan Stein, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
They're able to work with first-time home buyers and educate them on the full process.
Full process if you're a first-time buyer. Joseph Arinson, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When you feel educated throughout the process and you're learning the process and you know what's going on.
Not in the dark. Yep. Brian DeVore, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When they're showing you homes that meet your needs, you know they're listening to you and hearing what's important to you.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I can't tell you how big that one is. Bonus points, sorry, on that one, guys. Dan Christensen, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When he's actually read the contract and know what it says.
Give him a quiz. Ryan Stein, you know your realtor's doing their job when?
When they're able to generate multiple offers and go above list price.
Oh, yeah. No question there. Joseph Arinson, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When they can show you results by online traffic, show you that your home's being seen by a lot of people.
Okay. Show results. They have something tangible to show you that they're doing. Brian DeVore, you know your realtor's doing their job when?
When they didn't pressure you to buy a house you didn't want to buy, and they didn't pressure you to, as a seller, to accept an offer you didn't want to accept.
Okay. Dan Christensen, you know your realtor's doing their job when?
When he takes responsibility for problems, he focuses on solving problems, not on blaming others.
Yep. Ryan Stein, you know your realtor is doing their job when?
When they'll actually pick up their phone at 10 at night.
10 at night, answering the phone. All right, last one, Joseph Arinson. You know your realtor's doing your job when?
I'm trying to think of a good one, but it just comes down to communication, keeping that communication line open.
Okay, communication. You threw it out there. All right, guys. Hey, great job. That was the rapid fire segment. Coming up, we'll get the scores again from JJ, and we'll do our second debate topic. Should it even be possible for first-time homebuyers to borrow money or get gifted money for a down payment? Why or why not? Our in-studio experts will make you smarter than everyone else. We'll be right back on AM 760 KFMB.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. Mr. Credit here, joined by my co-host and judge, John Gerotes, JJ with Synergy One Lending and AskJJNow.com. JJ, give us a score update.
Yeah, that was a good rapid fire segment. Ryan still coming from behind at 11 points. We got a little separation at the top spot here. We got Joseph at 12, Dan at 13, and Mr. DeVore The champ at 15.
15. Okay, so just a little extending the lead by 1 point there in that last segment, Mr. DeVore.
I'm waiting for the very end where the handicap comes in, and it's like, but you really were behind by 6.
Sorry, I don't think that's going to happen. But I understand you want to protect it, get as big a lead as you can. You should. That's how you win these things, and you've won 3 of them before, so you know what you're doing in that regard. All right, Dan Christensen, we're going to start this round with you. Topic number 2. Should it be possible for first-time homebuyers to borrow money or get gifted money for a down payment? Why or why not?
Yeah, first of all, I believe, as all of us do, that home ownership is good, right? It's good for families, good for communities, good for the economy, good for the future. We work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and I think that group in particular is very important. They represent the future. So having said that, it's not a surprise that San Diego is a pricey market, right? I mean, you come in with a down payment plus closing costs. That's a pretty hefty entry fee. So yes, to answer the question, yes, I do believe that a first-time borrower ought to be able to borrow or have that money gifted as long as they meet all the other requirements, as long as they qualify for the loan, as long as they can even put that additional loan payment into their budget. Is there a risk in doing that? Yeah, I think there is, but I think it's very much worth the risk. We all know that home ownership for that group 35 and under is at historic lows. We need to do something to help those folks get into the market. At the same time, keep in mind the lessons we learned from the crash. I'm not for going back to no down payment, no interest only, teaser adjustable, stated income loans, but I am for first-time home buyers being able to borrow that.
Okay, so you think there are risks, but they're worth the potential rewards, and versus like a no down payment loan from back in the day, like 100% financing. At least in this case, they have to go beg somebody for the money.
That's right.
So someone's got to have skin in the game. Ryan Stein, should it be possible for first-time home buyers to borrow money or get gifted money for a down payment on a home? Why or why not?
I definitely think so. I don't see why not. As long as they qualify for the loan and they can afford the payments, then does it really matter where the money's coming from? San Diego is a very pricey city to get into, even at an entry-level home. So, if parents are able to help out their kids with a down payment or wherever the money does come from, I'm all for it. Obviously, they have to, be approved for the payment. If they have good job history, credit, all of that, then I don't see why there would be any issue at all. I don't see any risk, in my opinion.
There's no risk?
No.
You think there's zero risk at all?
As long as they qualify for the loan, what's the difference where the money comes from?
All right. Well, there's one side of the coin. Joseph Arinson, should it be possible for first-time home buyers to borrow money or have money gifted to them for a down payment? Why or why not?
I'm going to run along with these guys, and that's absolutely yes. The first topic that we talked about on the show was mortgage insurance, and that's why they put this in play, was to help out these, the FHA buyers, most likely the Generation X, Generation Y buyer, and they need assistance to build wealth. And how you do that is through real estate. So giving them some help, allowing them to, say, borrow a down payment, having to pay maybe a little bit of mortgage insurance, but as long as they can get into the home and start building wealth, absolutely.
Okay.
I 100% agree with it.
Okay. You think it's worth giving someone the chance to earn some wealth. Brian DeVore, what do you think here, man? Do you think it should be possible for first-time home buyers to borrow money for a down payment or have money gifted to them for a down payment? Why or why not?
Only if they have a really good relationship with their parents, because the parents don't want to hold it over them. I'm actually going to kind of walk the fence a little bit and say maybe, okay, depending on the situation. And there's a number of different ways you can get your down payment. There's actually programs in San Diego where you can get all of your down payment taken care of for you by the government. Okay, depending on the different requirements, the loan has to be secured by certain assets. It can't be by a third party. That's the federal government, but the city one will actually give you 2.5 of the 3.5% you're required for an FHA loan. So you can actually borrow the money for the down payment. But here's the issue you run into when you talked about skin in the game. The less skin in the game someone has, the more likely they will walk away from their home if times get tough. And you've talked about it before on your show, where with an FHA loan, you're already underwater, because if you go to sell the home, by the time you pay commissions and closing costs, you're already underwater.
Yeah, immediately.
Well, imagine being, with zero skin in the game, you're really underwater. Now, I know that you talked about earlier about, the market's not going to crash like it did before. And I really agree with that. But at the same time, there is still risk involved when someone has zero skin in the game. Now, if they're getting the money from a relative, then I think it's great so long as they're either not really having to pay it back or they've set up a situation with their family where they can do that. But like I said, that's always risky too. So I think it depends on the situation. I want to promote homeownership as well. But at the same time, I was reading a thing today. I'm going to admit this on the radio. I read Dear Abby today, okay? And in Dear Abby...
You're a funny guy.
Yeah. Hey, I just read it. And the article was actually about this guy who has a year's salary set aside as an emergency, and his wife, they want to buy a home, and the wife says that he should use that money for the house. And he doesn't want to. He wants that slush fund just in case because it protected him before.
Yeah.
And Dear Abby's advice was very good. Keep that year money set aside because you don't know what could happen. And home ownership can wait if it means you can wait with that down payment.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to kind of go, and I'll just throw this out there to everybody. I'll let you guys feast on this, but I don't think that it's a good idea for us to do too much. I think it's already too easy. Kind of the thought out there is that it's really hard to buy a house. I think it's far too easy to buy a house as it stands. I mean, 3.5% down isn't quite enough skin in the game. You got first-time buyers who can, 10 or 12 grand can get into a home, but they're leveraging, hundreds of thousands of dollars of OPM, right? Other people's money. And that's where you build risk. And I think the market won't crash if we continue to not do things like that. But the more of things like that we do and do allow just creates the opportunity for the market to crash. Because prior, and FHA financing, by the way, has become very unsavory because of the high mortgage insurance and the high costs associated with it. So they're kind of doing a lot of the work for us in that regard. But that only just increases, in my opinion, the opportunity for those loans to default. If someone looks at their mortgage payment and goes, $3,300, $700's mortgage insurance, the house is upside down. How far away is that person from just walking away? Especially once they figured out that the laws are all written to allow them to walk away and be unscathed by that. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Anyone wants to comment on that?
Well, to your point on that San Diego County Home Consortium Home Buyer Down Payment Program, the requirements are based on like a single family home of $451,000, a condo, resale condo of $312,000. That means you have to have $7,800, which is 2.5%, because you have to have 1% of your own skin in the game.
Right.
Save the $7,800.
Yeah.
Get more skin in the game. Then you're going to want to fight for that home a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's important.
I think that you've got to look at each case. I think it needs to be available, Derek. I just think, as I said, I think there's some risk, but I honestly think that as prices continue to climb, I think the risk of making it tougher and tougher is greater.
Okay. Okay. That's more potentially detrimental to the market.
Well, I think it's more detrimental to the community. Because I think it's good for communities. I think it's ultimately good for the economy. Ultimately.
Yeah. No, actually, yep, that's true. Ryan or Joseph, anything on that?
If we didn't have it in place, we could see the market slow down. It absolutely helps us continue this growth that we're having, and that's the reason why we have lenders, and they have to be pre-approved. I mean, I absolutely believe in 2 years of income, but when you have these kids coming out of college and they're have great education, they're getting great positions, and they have great income with a good company, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't want to lend to that person. That is a good borrower right there.
Would you lend them your money?
Absolutely. If I was a lender, absolutely.
Do you own stock in Fannie or Freddie?
Ryan, anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, I'll touch on it. Actually, I have a real life scenario. I have a couple that I'm working with. They're probably 28. They're looking to buy a house under $525,000, and their parents are gifting them the 20% down. And they're totally, qualified for the loan. They can make the payments. They're solid. I think, he's in his beginning stages of being a lawyer. So however they work that out, that's up to them. I mean, he's getting gifted the money. They're able to get into basically an entry-level home. And from there, they can grow equity, possibly pay their parents back in the future, and just start to grow as a homeowner.
Yeah, actually, you make a good point. It's the amount of the gift or the
Mm-hmm.
borrowing that I have an issue with, because when you're gifting 2 or 3%, that's not enough for anyone to have real skin in the game. If you're gifting 20, 25%, now the bank is really covered. They're really fine. They're going to be okay.
And that's what I was referring to when I first answer the question. I was referring more to the gift part as far as not borrowing the down payment. So that's what I was referring
Bonus
to.
points for Ryan Stein. Very, very good stuff. A great point that you brought up there that we almost missed. So appreciate you for doing that. All right, here's what we're going to do. Coming up, we're going to find out what the score is. JJ will let us know what it looks like before we get into the final debate topic. The lightning round is coming up next on the Real Estate Debate right here on AM 760 KFMB.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us on your Sunday afternoon. Mr. Credit here. The Real Estate Debate in full force. It's time for the win, JJ. It's the final segment. Tell us where the scores are at.
Hey, that was a good last segment. We had some catch-up play. Ryan, you're at 19.
Nice.
Joseph, you're at 19. Dan, you're at 21. And the champ, Brian DeVore, is still in the lead at 24.
Okay. So he gained another point in that round. So Ryan Stein has 19 points right now. He'll be leading off this particular topic, the lightning round. And basically, an economist at Trulia recently said that home prices across the nation are still undervalued by 3% as a whole. They came up with a bunch of reasons. You can Google it if you want to read it. But I'm more interested, Ryan Stein, in you telling us the most overvalued area in San Diego. And then after that, we'll do another round of undervalued. So what's the most overvalued area in San Diego right now and why?
I'm sure a lot of people are going to argue with me, but I have to say Point Loma. Point Loma is a great neighborhood, great location. But have you ever tried to drive in and out of Point Loma at 5 o'clock?
I've been lost in there multiple times, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's not cheap there. Yeah. You know, I mean, prices start from low 600s all the way, to $3, $4, $5 million, depending on location. The beach, Sunset Cliffs area is very nice, but again, it's so hard to get in and out. It's just too congested. It's basically being stuck on an island. And if I'm going to pay that kind of money, I want to be able to get in and out.
You want to have your own island, right? Yeah. All right. Joseph Arinson, tell us, what is the most overvalued area of San Diego right now and why?
This is a tough topic because obviously, we're real estate agents in here and I don't want to talk bad about any area. But when I look at, North County kind of areas and some of the highest priced real estate in San Diego, which is out in Rancho Santa Fe, beautiful, wonderful area. However, when you look at the surrounding properties and the surrounding areas, such as Encinitas and even if you go south into like Carmel Valley and Del Mar area, there's so much more bang for your buck. Even if you are looking for something with a horse, stables or something with a lot of land, you can still find that in other areas. In
Del Mar, you can get 6 acres.
Okay, maybe not Del Mar, but I'm saying other areas. That's what I'm talking about.
You got something up your sleeve here?
It's just. For the bang for the buck, I just don't see it out there. And literally neighboring cities, $500,000, $600,000 less, and you're driving. I mean, shoot, you're walking a mile to there.
Yeah.
So, I love what they have, and I love the feel of Rancho Santa Fe. However, I just feel like you're buying into a lifestyle there. You're buying into a group of people, and that's I just don't see it.
All right. So Joseph's hating on the 1% today.
Yeah, a little bit.
Brian DeVore. What is the most overvalued area in San Diego right now and why?
So the way I looked at this was, and I talked to my wife about it to get her opinion because she does a lot of work with our buyer clients. And we've talked about this before on the show about what a home would cost to buy versus to rent. And that's how I really just chose to define overvalued versus undervalued.
I like that.
And when you look at it, I try to look at how many sales are happening each month in different areas of the county. Because that's going to kind of tell, people are choosing to buy that area. Maybe the values are really there.
Yeah.
Or in other areas, there aren't as many sales. So and I just gave an example in Carlsbad, 92010 zip code. Okay. There were only 10 sales in the last 30 days. The median sales price was $630,000. So a loan of with 20% down would be about $2,400 a month for principal and interest. Didn't include taxes and insurance. To rent, you're looking at about an average of $2,867 a month. So the difference is only $461 or 19%. So maybe it's...
So are you telling us Carlsbad's overvalued?
It might, depending on the zip code.
Yeah.
Because, for example, in the 92009 zip code, there's a ton of sales, and it's not exactly true. So you got to be careful about when you say what area of San Diego County.
I see.
Got to look at the specific zip code as well.
So you're correcting my question right now.
I'm not. I'm enhancing your question right now. I'm enhancing it. So I think the bottom line is you have to look and you have to do some research to really kind of figure out where are the sales happening, and then you can kind of see where the values really are.
What area is overvalued?
I think that North County coastal in some of the areas are overvalued.
Okay. That didn't sound very specific. But Dan Christensen, what area in San Diego is the most overvalued right now, and why?
You know what, Derek? I don't like the question,
okay.
and I don't like articles like that. What does that mean that we've got 3% undervalue across the nation? I mean, to me, that's just not a helpful. And I think that's the kind of stuff that goes out to buyers and sellers, and decisions are made based on stuff that just isn't practical.
Here's your chance to give us the truth.
So here's my deal here. One, as I think that value is very unique, very personal. Is the buyer looking for appreciation? Or are they looking for cash flow? What else what else do they value? Is it location? Is it commute? Is it school? So I'm just kind of tearing up that whole question.
Sure.
If I had to say what was most overvalued to demonstrate my point, I would say La Jolla is overvalued. Maybe because I can't afford to buy there, maybe because I've never sold a home there. But I think all of coastal San Diego is overvalued. I don't like the marine layer. So for me, what you get for the price, including that marine layer,
okay,
overvalued.
Very interesting from Dan Christensen. All right, we've got to make it quick now. 30 seconds this round. Tell us the most undervalued area in San Diego and why. Ryan Stein.
Bay Park. It's centrally located in San Diego. It's 10 minutes to everything. Price per square foot is going to be cheaper than any coastal property, and you're never going to match those views for the price. So Bay Park, in my opinion, is definitely an upcoming neighborhood, and it's going to continue to grow with the new developments going in place.
Okay. Yeah, good stuff from Ryan Stein, and RyanJStein.com is his website. Joseph Arinson, what is this? You should be ready for this question, right?
Yep.
This is what you wanted to talk about. What are some of the most undervalued areas in San Diego, or the most undervalued?
The most, hands down, as I see, is Oceanside. Oceanside carries with it this just misconstrued concept that it's still 10 years ago, and it's not. When you see an area that has restaurants just flowing into it, I mean, literally within the last year, we've had these 6 really nice restaurants go in. You also have the breweries coming in. Stone just opened up a location up there. You have Jeff Bagby's big brewery. I mean, there's 4. I think it holds 200 people. I mean, it's absolutely huge. And
I think he likes
Oceanside.
He likes his
beer.
He likes his beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. But the next thing to follow are going to be people coming for the restaurants and the night scene and just the atmosphere that they're providing up there. And it's still one of the best prices per square foot coastal, hands down.
Oh yeah.
And you have the coaster there. So I mean, if you do want to go downtown, you still have that option.
Okay, good
absolutely
stuff.
Love it.
Joseph Arinson likes Oceanside. I actually do too, my friend. He's the author at San Diego Real Estate Today.com. Brian DeVore. What is the most undervalued area in San Diego and why?
Well, if you go by the numbers again, you got to say it's Rancho Bernardo, because Rancho Bernardo had the most sales in San Diego County last month, and it costs you way more money to rent a home there than it does to buy a home. But if you look at, and I actually can really agree with all of these, the next one was Fallbrook, then Poway, Oceanside, and Claremont. We talked about Oceanside. I love Oceanside. It is going through a renovation right now, and if I have clients looking in Carlsbad and they want to be in Carlsbad but they can't quite afford it, the first place I'm thinking of is Oceanside. Poway, I think, may be undervalued because of the schools as well. I can see a reason why all of those areas, and they're all over San Diego County, are undervalued. So to your point, Dan, it's very specific to what your needs and wants are, and all those areas have different things to feature.
Okay, I got to go to Dan Christensen. What is the most undervalued area in San Diego? Okay. 30 seconds.
First of all, Joseph killed it with Oceanside. If you just want to go price per square foot, location, I think Oceanside kills it. I'm going to go outside the box here a little bit. I'm going to say Carmel Valley. I'm going to say Rancho Penasquitos. I'm going to say Rancho Bernardo. And I'm going to say Poway. And it's because of the proximity to high-paying jobs. Demand is high there because of that, because of the schools. Because of the good commute, I think demand is going to continue to rise there. So I think it's undervalued.
Okay, very good stuff from Dan Christensen. He's at ChristensenRealtyGroup.com. And JJ, who is the winner of the real estate debate today, my friend? Do you have it tallied up?
He's quickly tallying.
He's on the BlackBerry right now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm using my BlackBerry calculator. It's
Can you see
it's
it on
old
that
school.
screen?
Well, you know what? Congratulations to the past champion, Brian DeVore. It was a great ending there and a lot of catch up. It was very close with 26, 2 28s. Brian took it at 30. Congratulations.
Great job, Brian. Well done,
Thank you
Mr.
very
DeVore.
much.
Good job.
Brian,
Thank you.
Brian
Good job,
DeVore.
guys.
Now,
I learned, as always, a
hey,
lot.
4-time champion on the real estate debate. We'll look forward to creating another trophy for you, my friend. That's Brian DeVore from Berkshire Hathaway. You can find him at thedevores.com. Coming up, it's Talking Money with Mr. C right here on AM 760 KFMB. Be right back.